Hey you guys, this is Juanito Spider-Man coming at you with another action figure review, and today we're going to take a look at the Power Rangers Legacy Collection Red Mighty Morphin Power Ranger. Right off the bat, I gotta say this guy kicks up all the ass. He's totally awesome, and I really think he's the best rendition of the Red Ranger that we've gotten to date, other than the SH Figuart series. But if you're like me and looking for the best possible bang for your buck, this guy is the way to go. So let's dive into the accessories first, and then take a look at the figure. In terms of accessories, we finally get our first look at the Build-A-Figure piece for the Power Rangers here. And it's obviously going to be the Dino Megazord, which I'm pretty excited about. This guy does look pretty cool. He does have a pretty cool paint job. You know, I love the red and the yellows there with the silver paint. Not a whole lot going on in the back, but you do get the red for the tail of the T-Rex. And I think this came from the Mastodon. Correct me if I'm wrong. Or no, you know what? I think that's the T-Rex still. Anyways. Yeah, not a whole lot to go off of in terms of articulation, but you just see that the head's on a ball joint there. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that piece together with the other figures that we get in the future. And the other accessory that we get here for the Red Ranger is his holster for his Blade Blaster. And you can see here that it's just kind of a simple piece of white plastic that gets pegged into his hip. And from there, you can unsheath the Blade Blaster. And again, it's pretty simple. You know, I do like the sculpting for it. You can kind of see some of the details in there, and I like that the paint job is red, white, and a tiny touch of silver there for the blaster part. Unfortunately, you can't really transform this into anything. It's just kind of permanently molded into, yeah, I think just like the little dagger. So it doesn't turn into the blaster, nor does it turn into like the swords that we saw in the series. So it's just kind of a little piece that's tucked away into the holster. So taking this holster accessory and plugging it right into the hip really isn't that hard. You just take the peg here and plug that right in like so. And it sits in there nice and snug. No problem with that falling out whatsoever, the weapon nor the holster. And of course, if you want to take the weapon out of the holster and plug that right into the Red Ranger's hand, you can do that as well. Like so here. Let's give that a tiny twist. And it sits right in there, no problem. This is actually pretty sweet. I really like the way this looks. Brings back all those memories from the TV show all over again. This is pretty cool. And taking a closer look at the figure here, we can kind of see the visor there, which I love how clean that turned out. I love the teeth along the side of the visor, and I love the black visor itself. Looks like it's straight out of the TV show. And I love the T-Rex eyes for the helmet. Oh, it looks so well done. The mouthpiece looks great as well. Looking along the back, not a whole lot going on other than just some clean paint work, which is always a plus. As I say, clean paintwork, there's a tiny little scuff right here along the white, which is a little unfortunate, but I'm sure I can scrape that off with an X-Acto knife. The white diamonds continue along the front here, which kind of leads me to my next point. This may bug some people, but as you pull the torso back, the diamond continues on underneath, which kind of looks a little bit odd, especially when you're posing it. You get double diamonds there, so I don't know what they would have done to remedy the issue, but it doesn't bug me a whole lot, but I know for some that might be a negative, so thought I'd point that out. Anyways, on to more positives. Look at this morpher. That morpher looks freaking sweet. You can see the T-Rex on there. You see the red around the power coin. Just like the freaking TV show. And I love that thing. I love the detail of the morpher there. Looks phenomenal. I think that's the best part of the figure overall. That's probably my favorite part of the figure overall. Anyways, moving on. Not a whole lot in terms of detail other than just the red vibrant paint, which I do love its vibrancy. It's beautiful. It looks nice. And especially against the white there with the boots. Get a tiny little black scuff there, and get a little magenta right here along the ankle, but no big deal. And finally wrapping up with that beautiful boot strap right there. And finally taking a look at the articulation. It's very similar to the Green Ranger that I reviewed last week. But for the head movement, he goes pretty far down, so you can take a look at this diamond. And he doesn't go very far up, but it's not too bad. You know, with the torso articulation, it kind of helps him look a little further back, so it's not too bad. It's on a ball hinge joint there, so it enables the 360 view. Not a whole lot of head pivot going on, but that's fine with me. The shoulder joints don't go out to a full 90. It looks like just like more of like a 55 probably, but they do get full 360 there. You get the bicep swivel, you get the double jointed elbows. You also get a gauntlet articulation here, which is nice, and in addition to wrist articulation. So, you know, double the articulation there, and it does hinge. And just in case you're curious, just like the Green Ranger, you can in fact take these hands off in case you want to interchange those. For torso articulation, he goes pretty far back, a decent amount, and he goes forward a pretty good amount as well, which is nice. Now let's see here. So that's good. Kind of helps him look up there. He also has a waist swivel, which is hindered by the morpher, unfortunately, so he doesn't go halfway, but, you know, it works out pretty well. He does get Jean-Claude Van Damme style hips, so that's always a plus. I love my Jean-Claude Van Damme. Let's see here. He can almost kick up to a full 90. Again, with this weird cut in the thigh here, if you pivot that just a tiny bit, he goes up the full 90. So, kind of works out. Again, I don't know what the reasoning is behind these. I wish they would have given us straight cuts there, but what can you do? Anyways, you do get the thigh swivel, which for mine is actually pretty stuck. There we go. Look at that. There we go. And you get the double jointed knees. You also get the boot swivsies. You get the ankle pivsies, which goes pretty far back, not too far forward, unfortunately, but you get a pretty gnarly amount of ankle pivot. And with that beautiful ankle pivot, we get results just like this. And for height measurement, we can see that the Red Ranger stands just a hair over 6.5 inches tall. And here's a size comparison of the Red Ranger standing next to the Green Ranger from the same Legends collection. And I gotta say, this is the first time I put these guys together in the same space, and I'm pretty stoked about this. I'm very much looking forward to the rest of the figures that Bandai is bringing our way for these Mighty Morphin Rangers. And here's a size comparison to some of our favorite Marvel Legends figures. As you can see, the Rangers stand just a hair taller over the Legends series. So that about wraps it up for my review, you guys. Overall, I'm pretty happy with this figure. However, the one drawback that I have with this guy is that we did not get a Power Sword with this guy. For those of you that don't know, the Power Sword came with the exclusive SDCC action figure of the Red Ranger. So not only does he have a Power Sword, but he's also got a metallic paint job. So I think that's pretty sweet. For those of us that couldn't afford to go to SDCC or get our hands on one of those guys, we kind of got to settle for this guy without a Power Sword. But on the upside, we get a Build-A-Figure piece, we get the holster, and we get the Blade Blaster. So I guess that kind of makes up for it, but I would have loved to have seen a Power Sword instead. Anyway, the clean paint and the beautiful articulation makes for a fantastic figure, and for those of us that can't get the SH Figuarts, this guy I think definitely does the job. Hopefully you guys like my review. Like the video below, and if you can, subscribe to my channel and share it, you guys. I'd love to have more followers and more of you guys seeing my videos. And in case you guys missed it, here's a link to my Green Ranger review from the same wave. You can also follow me on Instagram and check me out on Facebook too. Thanks for stopping by, you guys, and I hope you come back for more.